back to Maypole Farm, and today we're going to be planting some corn. Hopefully that rain will hold off. Let's just have a quick check of the weather forecast. And looks like it's not going to, so we might be planting in the rain. Oh well. I have returned the manure spreader. I'd filled it up, so I just threw that on to the grass, which has grown more now. Which is kind of cool. So some of it has quite a lot of nitrogen, but that's okay. Did that after Kartek pointed out, and then I watched the Tom Pemberton video. They generally don't spread manure after first cut because it takes a while for the manure to break down. So we're going to keep the manure until winter now. So I have the two workers off doing contracts, so field 88 and field 6. They are both planting corn. There are a whole lot of, well, they seem to be disappearing, a whole lot of planting contracts kicked in, and there were a lot of weeding contracts, and they seem to have disappeared as well, which is weird because I have lazy farmers on. I do need to update my copy of better contracts. So let's lease ourselves a planter. I am going to go for this guy. Yep, the John Deere 7000. It's not a direct planter, but there aren't many of those in our price range. So we don't need liquid fertilizer, but if we go for that, that gives us more seed capacity. I might need to edit the better contract set up to that actually as well. We don't need markers or a triangle, so yep, let's lease that. £500, very nice. I think we have seed. I think we have seed in the shed. I think I have bales, well, palletfuls in the shed as well. Yep. And we have seed, so let's grab that out before we get started. We're probably only going to run 2 or 3 contracts today. The milk sales are at the point where they are covering the workers' wages, which is really cool because that means contracts become profit. Yep, so that is quite nice. Should be enough seed for what we want as well. The rain has started, but we're going to crack on anyway. Yeah, so today we're just going to get this little cornfield planted, and we need to feed the cows still, and that'll probably be the video, I think. And then maybe next time we'll get into the indirect grazing. I think time is going to speed up a fair bit. In fact, I'm going to run the clock a little bit faster. That's fertilizer, not seed. Oh well. It's good to know, I guess. I wish I could edit it so that it took seed if we brought one. Yeah, so I think most of the grass work is going to start in May once it's had more time to grow. The canola is sorted. This will have the corn mostly sorted. It might need some fertilizing, but you'll see as we break open. We won't because we don't have fertilizer in there. I could have put fertilizer in as well. Have fertilizer. That feels like a good idea to me. So we've refilled with, or filled up with fertilizer, had almost exactly the right amount, and had a quick look, and we need to add about 40 kilograms of nitrogen. We have a mixed field up here, and for the sandy loam, which is most of the field, 40 kilograms of nitrogen is what we need, so that's what we're going to go for. I realized I should have put the ridge markers on because we don't have GPS. And I quite like using those when I don't have GPS. It really helps, I find, to get your spacings right. But we'll just have to wing it, I guess. And it's going to... We might not even bother with any more fertiliser on here because most of the field is going to be perfect. Hopefully the rest will be good. And that will be good enough with how we're doing things. So, to leave a decent headland. We'll have to come back and do that. Just because it's not the easiest setup to turn around. Yeah. Last, in theory, until we cut the grass, this is us done. I'm going to say the fertilisation is probably good enough. We'll jump out and check when we get to the other soil types. So yeah, the next video we might be in May for first cut, which would be cool. I might just skip the 2 days in other 2 days in April, because we won't have much to do. It seems like a bit of a waste. So if we jump out here, yep, good is good in okay. Okay is okay. It'll do. I think it'll do. So yeah, leaving quite a big headland to sort later. Haven't put any thought yet into other kit. I have a bit, actually. I'd said about getting another tractor. I think what we need to get is the rest of our grass working kit first. We don't own mowers at the moment. Let's get him refilled. So I've had to do the same thing, same trick with the fertilizer on here, and put a litre of fertilizer in to get Courseplay to run. That's because this spreader seeder uses fertilizer, and yeah, for Courseplay to work, you need, even though I've told it not to use fertilizer, you need to have a little bit in there, it seems. So I haven't updated Courseplay in a while. That might have changed. But for now, that's what we need to do. And I had, when I had the equipment delivered to the field, I had a bag of seed delivered as well, so that we could keep those running. I would not be surprised if the other one didn't run out soon as well, because they're both running on similar timescales and planting the same crop. So I guess stand by for a jump to that one as well. Yeah, it's one of the weird things of running such a small farm is there's not a huge amount to do with only 3 fields. And our biggest field being a grass field. Yeah, we'll get this corn planted. We'll get the cows fed. We need to get this roll as well, don't we? That might be tomorrow in-game's job. It's quite weird. Yeah, I've been quite anti-rolling, but what day was it? It wasn't Monday. One day last week I was out running, and the local farmers were really busy, and they were rolling all of the crops they planted, and been watching, or been catching a bit of, I've not seen all of Joe Seal's stuff lately, and they roll all their crops that they plant, so, and I've been doing it anyway. But yeah, we're going to be rolling the crops. Probably not going to use the bigger roller that we used on the canola field, because the Fiat struggled, and this is quite a small field, so probably get away with something smaller that's a bit easier to handle. Maybe even something that the Zetor can pull. That would be kind of fun, because we have spent a lot of time in this Fiat. And it would be nice to use the other tractor. And again, the whole idea of buying another tractor, right, we don't really need one, apart from the fact. So the reason we could use one, and we're getting to the end of that anyway, is contracting. Because we don't own a planter, we own a seeder, and seeding contracts. Actually, there are some seeding contracts about that could use our seeder. So we would save a bit of money there. There is a fertilizing contract that we could be doing without having to lease any kit, without me having to run it. Maybe there is benefit. We're certainly making enough to cover that. The counter to that is I really like the idea of field 11, which is only £38,000. It has a crop in, which we might need to change. Because I do still think that we might want to plant a root crop. And we could plant sugar beet in there. And this planter will plant sugar beet. So maybe we could hold on to it for a day. Pick up field 11. We'd have to... Does it need ploughing? Come on. Yeah. It doesn't need ploughing. It might need liming. Yeah, or we could get sugar beets through contract work from excess on contracts. Another very possible option. That would work as well. There were a lot of root crop harvesting contracts at the end of last year. But I always think that land in FS to produce crops is one of the key steps. So, yeah. Are there any fields nearby that have got root crops planted in them? No. Field 4. Field 4 looks expensive. 70,000. Not that expensive. We could maybe earn enough to buy field 4. It's a bit of a trek from the farm, particularly with the root crop. I'm going to get this finished off and I'll be back in a bit. But the weather has got a bit grim, but pretty much done. Finished running the headlands up there, just running back along the field, and then we have to do the headlands at this end, and then we're done with this job, and then we need to get the cows fed. The seeding contracts are progressing well. We should probably check in on those, actually. And that's why I wanted to check in on them. Because that one's got stuck on the bag of seed that we had delivered. Maybe I'm just gonna... Yep, that's fine. That's totally fine. Totally fine. That is a disadvantage of having a bag of seed delivered to the middle of the field. There you go. We've got one and a bit more headlands to do on that job. And then if we check this guy, they are about to run out of seed. So my bag of seed is there. So we'll just hang on a moment and just enjoy this nice Steyr running the John Deere seeder. Hopefully it's not quite going to make it to the end of the run. There we go. Get that refilled. Perfect. Hopefully there's enough seed left to finish the contract. Yeah, I'm really tempted to edit this so that those fertilizer bins are extra seed bins. Although actually it's been quite useful using it on our farm. So let's hit that again. There we go. Back into our tractor. So yeah, they'll hopefully get those jobs done fairly soon. And the other ones I ran from the... I don't know how you should do these. I'm going to do it the same way again. I'm going to run it from the inside edge out. Feels like the right thing to do. But I don't know, so someone will tell me, probably. And fertilizer has lasted really well. So yeah, I'm still open to suggestions for tractors on here. Did I activate them? I know Smock had suggested some, which I've downloaded but not enabled yet. So I'll have to have a look at those next time. Yeah, in the mods folder, just not enabled. So we'll have a look at those. But yeah, probably something about the same sort of horsepower as the Fiat would be nice. Basically something that can run all of the kit that we're going to have. Those of you that are on Patreon, those of you that are patrons, it's a very similar question to the question that I asked on there on Furling. So I'm looking for the same sort of thing, really. Tractor with a front 3-point with, 180-ish horsepower. But of the right age, importantly. I need to have a look at the Deutz, another tractor that Smock Farmer suggested, the Deutz that we did the real dashboard edit on. So that's about the right age. Come on. Can we get this off of here? There we go. It's a way of achieving our goal. Must be very nearly done on this contract. Yeah, 94%. Not so much on that one, but it's a much bigger contract. So I just need to do this little corner here. Should have actually left a bigger headland. The other one worked out quite well. It was about 3.5 rows. So yeah, that worked quite well. This one was 2 rows, but I ended up with this little dodgy bit in the corner that we need to sort. There we go. Done. So I am going to hang on to the cedar planter so that we can ponder the additional field. I don't feel we should do the fertilising contract that we have in this weather. So we're going to get the cows fed next. Because that's what you do with Maize Plus. You feed your cows. Over and over again. We don't really have a shed we can fit anything like this in. So we might need to think about putting something in that we can get this wider kit into. The cedar that we own lives outside. This leased planter is going to live outside for a bit. Before we put the weight on the back, we'll hook up to the trailer and do the grain mix. Don't have a lot of. If if we put about 1,000 litres in each, we will be good, and contract on field 6 is done. So let's redeem that. We'll get a little bit of money back from the bit of seed that's left in there. That one's still running. Oh, there are a lot of fertilizing contracts. I'm going to be busy off camera running all of those. Might run a couple once the weather clears up. Where's field 17? Mm, 17 is just behind the farm. I'm going to take that one. And we're going to use our own kit for it. And we'll do it in a bit. I'm going to put about 1,000 litres in. There we go. So the one thing I have done with this trailer is I have slightly slowed down the tip rate on the grain door, because we're using the grain door to feed into the trough. That seemed like a good idea to me. We should get that bag of seed put away as well. So I'm going to leave the trailer over here because we need to do a run up to the mill again. To mill. And we'll grab this pallet of seed, which we're going to need to use for... Oh, there's a pole post there. We're going to need to use for the contract that we've just taken on. But for now, we'll get that under cover. And we can drop the pallet forks off, pick the weight up, and do the rest of the feeding. There we go. So if we drop those there, because we're going to need them again in a bit. Heap weight, and then the bucket to shred the potatoes or sugar beets. So let's look at the cow's feed. Yeah, they were all fertilizing contracts. So what I like to make sure is they have, for a day, at least 2,000 litres of power food, probably 3 or 4 of moisture food, and then I just bung in some silage and some hay. I think I'm going to wait until, if I can, until May to start taking the grass off for the indirect grazing. And that was my laptop alerting me to something. Just mute that. It's becoming a reoccurring annoyance in these videos. Because I have to remember to edit them out. There we go. That's about 10 minutes into this chunk of video. Let me find a pen quickly. And then I will also, at the same time, because that will help make it easier to find it, say thank you to the YouTube channel members and the patrons, or the patrons and the YouTube channel members, for supporting the channel. Obviously mentioned Patreon earlier. If you're interested in that, there is a link below, and you get a once a week extra video on Furling, which is a really cool little map. Yeah, and then you get the same benefits as well as like the other benefit you get with Patreon is I occasionally ask production type questions for ideas and things, although I haven't recently because kind of been in tutorial land for Maize Plus. And then there's the YouTube channel membership where you get that's included with Patreon as well, and I have 2 people I need to add in still. You get added to the pool of workers for the farms and the landowners. So yeah, and I still have to add in December and the Warwick, who recently joined the YouTube channel members. And we'll make sure I get you guys added in before the next video. or you can just watch the videos and click like, because that helps as well. I think that'll be good. So we'll grab the bale spike now. Yeah, and again, this is I'm trying different things with the videos at the moment. A lot of that, we're completely out of seed on that one, aren't we? So we'll buy another bag. Might have to come pick it up, or we could do smaller bags. We've got the single bags of DSV seed, haven't we? They have 35 litres, so we would need to buy about that many. And that should fill the seeder up. Yeah, I'm finding it that I don't often have time to, yeah, I don't often seem to have time to play and then edit and stuff. So doing more of these slightly rougher live videos, that's going to take a while. So these bags are part of Maize Plus. And they are from DSV, who are one of the brands that the farming agency partner with. Might need to get out, put those in. I'm going to get this filled up and I'll be back. That was a bit of a faff. Those bags have not very big triggers on them, or the seeder planter does not have a very big trigger on it. One of the two. Anyway, job done. So, hay and silage. I think if we do... So that one's got plenty of hay, so they need 2 bales of silage and they need 1 of each. One of the things with feeding bales is you have to kind of balance stuff a bit, which is not a problem. Makes it a bit more interesting than just mixing up a TMR and throwing it in. We should start to see grass working contracts this month or next as well. Let me check that I'm putting in this one, which will be cool, because we could do with some more hay. There we go. And then they want 1 bale of silage and they want 2. So if we do the 2 first. There we go. This is maybe not the best bale spike for this. Something with a round bale grab would be better, I think. But we are making do, and yeah, I think they're good. So silage in the other one, and we'll be done with feeding the cows. And the rain has stopped, so we can get that fertilizing contract going as well. Okay, maybe they're going to get 2 bales of silage as well. Don't think that's a problem. We have... How many days of silage do we have left there? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably about 4. Yeah, so we should be good if we switch to the indirect grazing in May. There we go. That's cows fed. So I think for these last 2 jobs, once I said the last 2 jobs like I hadn't just taken on a whole ton of contracts, which I did, which is something that I'd forgotten. Yeah, lots of contracts, not last two jobs, but last few bits we're going to do in this video. Let's put it that way. So I want to make sure that we are on max spread width because this is a big field. And we'll do one headland. Start on headland. And this shouldn't take very long at all. And where are you going? Oh, come on, autosave. Come on. Jesus. Let me get you right on the point, shall we? In fact, I might regenerate the course. Let's do that. There we go. First waypoint is right in front of you. Right. What's up with you? Really? Oh, it's finished. Excellent. So we can collect on that contract. So the last job that I'm going to get done is to get the soybean planting sowing contract that I just took done. We might as well use our seeder because it doesn't incur leasing costs. It is ours. So we will unload the planter, pull that out of the way, get the seeder out and crash because I haven't crashed in a while. And I'll see you over in the soybean field. Pretty much done with this seeding contract. I decided to just crack on with it and get it done. Have a few fertilizing contracts to claim actually that have been done whilst see, that was a pretty hefty chunk of cash there. So that 10, 11, 18 grand. So we are in a position to be able to buy a new field next time, which is cool. And there's more to come. I think I may have over-clicked on fertilizing contracts and I might not do all of them, or certainly not today. I slowed time down a bit just so that while I record the end of this, it's not getting too dark. The shadows are getting fairly long, but yeah, you'll see we have a silly amount of fertilizing contracts to do and more available. So, but I don't think I'm going to do them all. I think that would be silly. I want to keep progressing our own stuff. We can buy another field now, which is really cool. We'll do that next video. We have our field of corn to potentially roll. Did that a little bit early. So we'll have a look at that as well. And I think we'll be looking at planting some more sugar beets. I think we need them. We seem to be getting through the root crops really quickly. I did decide that I wasn't going to feed root crops through the summer, because we're going to indirect graze through the summer. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe we could look at picking up more grassland instead, or a field with a crop in it and then plant grass in it next year. That might be a better option actually. I changed my mind so much with this stuff. There are so many possibilities with Maize Plus now. It's kind of crazy. How are we doing on this? 96%. So shouldn't have too much more to do. Yeah, doing well on the cash front now. Obviously contracting is the main way at the moment. We're going to make progress because on hard mode the crops are worth very little. The milk's not worth a huge amount. Milk's not quite paying wages it should in the next few months, as the milk production for the Holsteins is going to get a lot higher. So going to eat a lot more. Because I'm on 2-day months, those mature Holsteins are going to be eating 2,500 litres of feed a day each, which is a lot of food. We're going to be getting through 30,000 litres of food a day in that pen. And we are done. Awesome. We're not going to do any more than we need to. I have wondered about whether we should maybe buy this field. It is £96,000, so we're about £40,000 away from it. But with all the fertilising contracts that are cropping up, that is entirely possible. And a field of soybeans would be quite nice for the income. We'd have to store them, so we'd have to look at buying a cheap silo, maybe. I really think grassland might be the way to go. That grass field up there. No, it's not. The grass field's over at the other farm that we've had a few trips over to. So they're options for bringing in, you know, or we could just buy a field and take the crop off it and then plant grass in it. That is also an option. We should probably take the... Oh, let's run out of fertiliser. That's annoying. Probably take the seed out of there. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'll have to have a ponder as to whether we return the planter and go for more grassland. It's probably going to yield better as well in terms of feed. We could indirect graze it. Yeah. I'll come to some sort of decision between now and the next video. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this, click the like button. Comments, questions or suggestions, stick them below. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time on Maypole Farm. I realised I hadn't claimed the seeding contract, and then I thought I might as well finish that off because it really didn't need much. So we grabbed another bag of fertiliser and got that done. So we can claim both of these contracts. So that's an extra £15,000. We're doing much better for cash. So yeah, a load of fertilising contracts that I may do. Probably just have these running in the background, actually, I think, while I do some more field work next time. So yeah, see you then.